सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। The way that we have been told about God is He is all kind. Karunamurti He is. All compassionate, loving, blessing, all that. Now suddenly Arjuna is seeing here the Ugraha Rupa of God. God with the furious form. All destructive. Now he is asking this fundamental question, what are you? What do you do? Because you are supposed to be the one who is kind. I mean, why this destructive form? Why you are standing in this form now? Why are you doing this to me? Like all of us ask me. Whenever we are in trouble, we say, why are you doing this to me? Of all the people in the world, such a great person I am, such a good person am I. Why should I? Why are you testing me? Now there are people who give very very interesting explanations for all that. Some of them say God is testing you. I am a test tube or what? What we don't understand is we are reducing God to a level of what? Why should God test you? And then some great philosophy people speak. Life teaches you, not after teaching. First it will give you test. Through test it will teach you. No, that's a wrong way of teaching. Right way of teaching is what? You cannot be deciding the answer and then solving the sum. No. After writing the answer, if you solve the sum, it's a wrong way of studying mathematics. No. First, teaching should happen, only then testing is possible. Should be done. Suddenly we can't say life is going to teach you like that. The way of life is to test you first and teach you. Ordinary teachers will teach you first and then test you. God is an extraordinary teacher. So what he does? We say in Tamil, Lusa Pani. That's not the right way of going about. See? But then Arjuna is seeing that Vishwarupa in all consuming, all destructive. Now he is not able to decipher why this is, and he is not able to digest this fact. Therefore, he is asking, tell me who you are. Because if you are really God, my understanding is God is the one who is kind. If you are God, you should be kind. Your action and your being doesn't seem to go together. So he is asking. And for whatever it's worth, he puts one namaskar also. Right? He says, one salutation to you. Te namaha says. One namaskar. Safe, no. Whatever it is, Arjuna is a king. He has been trained in the diplomatic platforms and all that. So he puts one namaskara to you, and whoever you are, doesn't matter. Even if you are devil, it's okay. I will do a namaskara, be happy. because it is overwhelming for him. Then he says, have mercy on me. He pleads here, says, all this is the sign of fear. All this is fear actually. Okay. Now that he has asked a question, Krishna is going to give a reply now. From verse 30 to 32, 33, 34. 3 verses, we will find Krishna giving answer to the question. What is the question? 2 questions Arjuna is asking. Remember here. Who you are and what is your action? What do you do? These are the 2 questions he is asking. To which Krishna starts giving his reply. Verse 32.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravrittah Lokan samahartumiha pravrittah Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve Yeva sthitah pratyanikeshu yodhaah Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravrittah Lokan samahartumiha pravrittah Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve Yeva sthitah pratyanikeshu yodhaah.
The blessed Lord said, I am the mighty world-destroying time, engaged here in annihilating the worlds. Even without you, all these warriors arrayed in the opposing armies shall not live. Is what I am. Straight answer he gives. Kalaha ahamasmi. I am that Kalaha. What I am going to do, sir? Loka kshayakrit. What I do is Loka kshayakrit. That entire Loka, the entire world, all the worlds destroying. These mighty worlds. I'm going to annihilate. Samahartum. So 2 questions he asked. Krishna has already given the answer for the two questions. What is it? I am Kalaha. I am time. And we wonder what is this time and all that, we will come back to it. Right. So question, what are you? He says, I am time. What do you do, sir? Destroy the worlds. All lokas, lokan, in the all worlds. Now he says, I have annihilated. Arjuna must be thinking internally, what now? Hey, I am the one holding Gandirva. Right? I am the one who is supposed to be engaging in the war and fighting. I have not yet started. I am not intending to start also. When I am not killing, if I am not shooting, with what are you going to kill? How can this happen? It has to happen only by me, no? Yes. Now that ego of Arjuna, he demolishes. Yes. Even without you. Yes. You are not needed, man. I am not dependent on you. Yes. Even without you, all these warriors who have come in the opposing armies, everyone is going to be destroyed. Everyone will be killed. Everyone is going to die. Yes. Now we go back to understand what is that aham kalaha means. See, kala tattva, you need to understand. We are not, I'm not planning to go into the details of that entire kala tattva. One aspect of it here we see is Krishna identifying himself with that particular aspect and saying, I am standing now as Kala. What is Kala? Time. You say, Kala here is not referring to two things. Kala is not referring to the chronological Kala or psychological Kala. The time that we know of, we transact with in the world has two aspects. One is chronological time. Sunday morning, 7:45, we start the class. This is chronological time. The class will happen from 7:45 to 9. Sometimes 9:15, sometimes 9:30. That's it. That's a different thing. Okay. 7:45 to 9. 7:45 to 9, if the class is going to happen, that is hour and 15 minutes. That hour and 15 minutes is experienced by everyone differently. That's called a psychological time. For some, that hour and 15 minutes may disappear like that. For some, that hour and 15 minutes may look like eternity. Oh my God, so long the class is going on, isn't it? You get the best of it is, when you take them to this Carnatic music concert. He's still singing the same song. He has just started, Todi Alap, he started. And he is doing Todi Alap itself is going for an hour and 15 minutes actually. And then he has to start the song. And then he has to do this, Neraval. And then he has to, go to this Kalpanaswara and all that. And then Tani Avardhanam and then conclude. All that has to happen yet. He is still going on singing that raga for 1 hour 15 minutes. Alap itself is going for 1 hour 15 minutes. Oh my God, that fellow will not stop, is it? For some who can enjoy that Carnatic music, the time shrinks. For those who doesn't enjoy that experience of Carnatic music, the time stretches. This is my standard advice. If you want to torture someone, right, this is the best time. Tell them, I'm taking you to this Chennai music, festival is coming up now. I'm booking a kacheri for you. Let's go. Music Academy. Come. How much I pay for that? Take that fellow and put him. At least movies, they give interval gap. He'll be there. In Carnatic classic, there's no interval. Average now is 3 hours concert. Continuous 3 hours. You can't even get up in between. If you get up, the fellow next to you will get, they'll get irritated. Be a torture. 3 hours of torture that fellow. And then talk to him about that music, how good it was. They'll kill you. This is called a psychological time. Chronological time being same to everyone. Psychological time is subjective. Remember, chronological time is collective. Right? In our old system of Indian calendar, there is no week. We don't have week here. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday wasn't there in the old calendar system. If you take, this Panchanga and all, if you take, there is no this in the old ones. So after we started interacting with the Greeks and all those things, only this has got absorbed. That's why we see the calendars are all changing from one civilization to another civilization. Why? That's collective, right? But then in every civilization, every individually people feel that particular time. Experience of time is there, which is referred as psychological time. So chronological time is different, psychological time is different. Chronological time is collective, social, transactional. Psychological time is subjective, personal. Right. Now, what he is referring to is beyond these two ideas of time. And the moment we say it is beyond these two, we lose the whole thing. We say, now we can't understand. Now, what we can conceive, what we can understand is only these two times. Chronological time and psychological time is possible for us to understand. Whereas this Kala Tattva that he is referring to, Kalam Asmi, he says. Now, what is that? How are we to understand that? We will fail in understanding this aspect. So, what is this? Kala Tattva is a space like you can take, is where all the events taking place. It's a screen on which all these movies getting projected. No? Now, Kala Tattva is that. Kala Tattva, the time, the events all happening take place in the framework provided by time. I will just give an example, then it will be easier for you to understand the idea. So what is Kala? Kala is a framework. Framework for what? For all the events to take place, there is a framework. What is it? Example we give is this. Now, in March, December, no? February or so, you go to this mango tree, you will find mangoes there. Small mangoes will be there, which we call as mavadu. Small mangoes. You see that small mango and then go back. And if you pluck that small mango and taste it, it will not have sweetness in it. It will show little bitterness will be there. It will taste bitter. Now you leave that mango. In March end or April first week you go, you will see that same mango have become bigger in size. And now you pluck that mango and eat. It is sour. Leave mango there. Don't pluck that mango. Leave it there. By May first week you go and take that mango and eat. Now that mango has turned sweet. It is so sweet now. Bitter, sour, sweet. How come something which is bitter has turned sweet? What has happened in between? Yes, the time has passed. That's all it is. The time passed from February to May. This is what is referred as the framework. Everything that is happening in the world is happening in this framework provided by time. Kala. In this, Krishna says, identifying with that particular aspect, Krishna says, Kalaha Asmi. And we have a very interesting name for the Lord of Death. The Lord of Death is also called the Kalaha. Nice, these people give names. They're experts in that. Giving names. He says, I'm Kala. Then he says, look here, with all this, I've come here to annihilate. So the purpose is what? What is your action? The annihilation is my action. Even without you, the annihilation is going to happen, Arjuna. Now there is two problems will be there. One, many people who read these verses can be misled to one philosophy. That is, life is predestined. See, all these people are standing there in the battlefield. Krishna says, already annihilated, they are killing. I have already finished them. He's going to say that in the next verse. You don't worry. I have come here to annihilate all these people. Even without you, all these people are going to, shall not be there. All of them are going to die. And he says, you feel what is going on in life. Another problem we will face from this verse is, why is Krishna killing all these people? So God is coming and killing all of us, is it? So which means, why should God kill us? That is an essential quick question, no? Isn't it? Why? Now, what is my position here? Third problem comes is, what is the stand that we are supposed to take now? So we have to resolve all these three issues. So Krishna gives answer, but that answer gives us certain queries, certain doubts. So to clarify that only, he is further giving two more verses. Right? Otherwise, the question asked by Arjuna was answered in this verse itself. He asked two questions. Who are you? What do you do? What is your action? What do you intend to do, man? He said, I am Kalaha and I am going to annihilate. So for that, he has already given answer. There is no necessity for Krishna to speak any more further. But still, Krishna speaks two more verses. Now, what he is doing in those two more verses is explaining us those two aspects. And there are for certain hidden details we have to decode. We have to extract. He hides few details which we have to probe, think, and extract. That's where we ask these three fundamental questions. Now coming to verse 33. We'll go there and then we can come back to this. Verse 33. He says, now I am going to annihilate all these people. Now what is the position of Arjuna now? For that he is giving answer here.
Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham mayaivaite nihatah purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavyasachin tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham mayaivaite nihatah purvameva निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन्
Tasmat. Therefore, you arise. Tasmat tvam uttishta. You arise. This is a, no, you'll find this very many times Krishna repeating. Uttishta, uttishta. You'll go on saying that. Arise. Wake up. Get up. You arise and acquire fame. Yashaha labasva. You acquire fame. Having conquered the foes, enjoy the prosperous kingdom. Samudram Rajya. Samritam Rajya. Huge and big, nice, prosperous kingdom. Sure. Yes. Enjoy. You enjoy the prosperous kingdom. Verily, they have already been slain by me. I've already finished them. Now, what is my job then? You be a mere instrument, O Sabyasachi. Nimittamatram Bhava Sabyasachi. Nimittamatram Bhava. This is the instruction. Direct instruction of Krishna is, Arjuna, what you have to be? You be a Nimittamatram. You be a mere instrument. Nimittam here means instrument. Nimitta matram is mere instrument. Nimitta here in this context means instrument, because the word nimitta has many meanings. Right? Even for Om and Salah, we have this same name, nimitta. Right? So we have different meanings. In this context, the meaning is instrument. You be a mere instrument. And he gives a beautiful name to Arjuna. There's Savyasachin. Savyasachin means the one who can wield his bow with his left hand also. They call ambidextrous. Arjuna is ambidextrous. He can wield this. Like I always say, imagine a person who plays like a batsman, like Lara, left hand, like Tendulkar, right hand. If he takes a guard as a right hand batsman on that day, he will play like Tendulkar. If he takes a guard as a left hand batsman, he will play like Lara. How will you bowl to that fellow? What's a fielding set you will have? Almost impossible to deal with such a batsman. Arjuna is such a dynamic and skillful personality. That's what we need to understand here. What is referred here is the dynamism of Arjuna. How dynamic and how skillful he is. Now, most of us think, you just be my instrument. You just be my assistant, okay? Usually we think, who is assistant? If you see that old movies along, that 70s movies, you will find all businessmen will come. All businessmen will have a secretary. All those secretaries will be Anglo-Indian secretaries. Have you seen? Those days, that old movies, if you see, you will have that. Why? Because the boss doesn't know English. Since the boss doesn't know English, they keep someone who knows the language better. So that, even if he makes mistakes, he will correct all those things and type the letter properly and then send that letter. So that is the idea. Same way he says, Arjuna, you be my instrument. And what type of instrument? Not just a casual and ordinary fellow you are. You are such a skillful personality, such a knowledgeable one, a dynamic one, brilliant, intelligent person he is. It's not that he is just, ordinary fellow. Remember that. So that is why to indicate that, and Krishna recognizing that fact, he is reminding Arjuna that even though you are such a skillful personality, because the moment you develop a skill in any particular field, invariably what you get along with that. Don't say ego. No, you will not get ego there. Remember, you will get something subtler than ego. Ego in the sense of arrogance. You think, oh, he's a very arrogant person. So we use the word ego. In Vedanta, when we say ego, we don't refer to arrogance. Arrogance are very, no, unintelligent people will have arrogance. No, semi-skilled, unskilled personalities will have arrogance. Ego will be there with the skilled person. Those who have that skill will have ego. And if you have greater the skill, greater will be the ego. What does that mean? Then how do you distinguish? Because if you say a skilled person also will be arrogant, unskilled person also will be arrogant. Now, how will you identify? So Vedanta says, no, no, no. Arrogance will be there only with the person who has no knowledge or half-baked knowledge. When you are half-baked understanding in any particular field, you will be arrogant. So what will happen? Once you have good knowledge in that particular field, particular skill when you develop, automatically the arrogance will go. Which means humility will come. But ego will not disappear. This is the stand of Vedanta. For all of us to transact in the world, if you can get rid of your arrogance, more than enough. Isn't it? You will not have any issues. This is where we cannot distinguish between a person who has dropped arrogance and the person who has dropped ego. You can't distinguish. A person who is humble, that's what he is going to give later. There we will see more detail. Very interesting details will come later. He is giving, amanitvam, adambitvam. Where? The 13th chapter. Don't say, sir, when we will reach 13th chapter? Yeah, still in the 11th chapter only. Now, ego here is not with reference to arrogance. First, remember that. So, more the skill you have, the very skill itself, the very effort that you had put in to develop that skill, I mean real skill, not this half-baked. Arrogance will disappear. You can look that in any field, even materially also. Those who are super rich, if you see, they will not have any value for money. They won't care. They will not be wearing, branded clothes. Who super rich. Same way, the poor also will not be wearing branded clothes. The in-between case is a confusion. We are the real problem, the middle class. And the more tragic one is the upper middle class or the lower upper class. For us, it matters, but for him, it doesn't matter. He is very comfortable. Now this is what I always tell. If Rajinikanth comes out without, combing his hair, he just walks, with the ordinary slippers, One pajama kurta, he just puts and he just walks, comes with a normal car, and he walks in the streets. If there is a traffic jam, he will get down from the car and walk. It will be talk of the town. Hmm? If Ishwaran comes out like that, what you will think? Of course, now I don't have hair. That's why I cut that. You come to class without combing hair. Daridra mari varada. If Rajinikanth comes out without makeup and all those things, that is treated as what? Oh, what a humble person he is. If Ishwaran comes out, it's a double standard. Remember, that's what life is. If he comes out, that's humility. If you come out like that, that will not be treated as humility. See, same way, knowledge. To meet people who are experts in medicine. They say, sir, we have no clue how brain works. No idea we have. What is happening? Musicians you speak to. The greatest musician you speak to. Sir, by the time the master one raga, one janma not enough. Now, if you hear all those things, I used to think as a small, when I was small, these people speak like this, I say, with all that, if he is going to say the same thing, I am also saying the same thing. Isn't it? Now, then why go there? Remember, here in Vedanta, spirituality, we are not discussing about arrogance. Dropping arrogance, Allah, you don't need Vedanta. That's why a lot of people today get confused. Sir, what you are teaching is practicing, people say. Because they think I am talking about arrogance. And they find one person who's too good in some field, in any field for that matter, whether it is sports or music or science, business, in any field for that matter. Market, the person says, the one who is an expert in stock market says, sir, I don't know how that works. Nobody knows. Don't listen to all these people. People will tell you this one, that one, and all that. Essentially, nobody understands how it works. RBI governor says we don't know how economy works. No, you think oh, such a dumb person he is then, is it? No, when he says I don't understand, behind that I don't understand, there is a tremendous thinking. It's gone in. So all that you need to do with reference to dropping arrogance is to develop a skill. You slog to develop something. The moment a person slogs in any field, if you have achieved that in one field, it will percolate to all other fields automatically. It's not that a musician has to, again he has to become a great sportsman to become, again that fellow has to learn, business to become, again he has to develop science, knowledge and science to become, technology to become, not necessary. I develop a skill. How it works is they understand the amount of effort that has to be put in to cultivate. Since they know the intensity of effort that is needed to cultivate that skill, so much of sacrifice that has to be done, so much of price that has to be paid to get there, they are aware of it. They know what it means. That recognition of that effort that has gone in to develop that skill alone makes them drop that arrogance. That's all. Now, when he says ego in Vedanta, we are not referring to arrogance. Remember that. Like in the last verse, I told you, Kala Tattva, what we are discussing is not, I say, chronological, psychological. It is neither chronological nor psychological. Same way here, it is not arrogance. Okay, then what it is, sir? That's where Krishna gives him an instruction directly. Arjuna, you have developed a skill, you have become a humble person, you are such a nice person. There's no doubt about it. But then you have one fundamental belief that I am the doer. Aham karta. That kartrutva will not go. In Vedanta, ego refers to that kartrutva bhava, not arrogance. That is mada. That is a different one. That's all, very ordinary. Getting over mada and all, the matsarya and all is a very ordinary one. Now here we are discussing about the karta. I am karta. Now Krishna says, move from the position of a karta to karana. That's the instruction. Now we need to do an analysis of, sir, what is the difference between karta and karana? Karta means doer. English. Karana is what he refers as nimitta, instrument. The word used by Krishna here is nimitta for that. So he says, you be a karana. Now we need to understand, sir, what is the difference between karta and karana? Karta literal meaning is doer. Karana literal meaning is instrument. So what's the difference between doer and instrument? Being a doer and being an instrument. What is the difference? For that, we need to go into fundamental question of what we do in life, how we live life. Right? We all having a choice. Human beings have a choice. Animals don't have a choice. This is the basic understanding we have now. What's the difference between animal and human beings? Animal cannot decide. Today is Kartike Masam beginning. So let me get into this vrata for 48 days and go to Shabarimala. Today is Ekadeshi. Let me do fasting. No lion can take a stand. Tiger cannot take a stand. That I am hungry. It's okay. One day let me fast. No tiger will say that. No cow will say that. If it is hungry, it will go and eat. If it is not hungry, it will not eat, how much ever you force. As far as we are concerned, hunger or no hunger. For us, what? My grandmother's philosophy. It's time to eat, no, she will say. Hey, 8 o'clock now. Now itself we finish. I say, I'm not really hungry. Yes, I don't care about that. Who cares? So, we'll say, adukku enna po? No. When you are not hungry, how will you eat? Yes, no. Whether you are hungry or not hunger, there's no point. You can eat anytime. Whereas animals don't have choice like that. Human beings have a choice. What is the choice we have? The fundamental choice we have in life is to do a particular thing in a particular way with a particular attitude. To do or not to do. I repeat, to do or not to do a particular thing. If we decide to do in this way or that way, or to do with this attitude or that attitude, with any attitude. All this we have. Animals don't have all that. That is the difference between human beings and animals. Now, he is coming to Arjuna, you have developed a skill, Savyasachin. You developed that expertise in doing things. Which is the best way of doing this? That's a skill, no? Best way. That's how these people develop this idea, no? Or Adam Smith and Karl, Marx had this problem always. These two fellows will never go together. Because for this guy, efficiency matters. Efficiency means what? Famous example they give. Pin making, economics line. We studied that. Pin. To make a pin, there are 12 steps. There are 12 steps, 12 stages to make a pin. If one person were to do the 12 steps, how much production will happen? Vis-a-vis 12 fellows doing one thing, one step. So you engage 12 fellows only. 12 fellows do 12 steps individually and produce the pins. Vis-a-vis the same 12 fellows do only one step. So first fellow does first step, second fellow does the second step, third fellow does the third step. He doesn't do anything else. He just does the third step only. This is how industrial revolution came into picture. You have learned what is the most efficient way. Efficiency means what? Least effort, maximum output. That's called efficiency. Least effort, minimum effort. You are Savyasachin. You have learnt all that. Arjuna, you are expert in that. You know how to do. So you have developed a skill of how to do, but then you have not developed a skill of with what attitude you should do. What should be the attitude here? He says, shift your attitude from karta to karana. From being a kartahood to karanahood. Then we ask, okay, sir, what is this karta? Now we ask this question. So what are we? Fundamental question comes. Are we karta or karana, sir? Essentially, if you think carefully, forget about the Bhagavad Gita and all that. Independently, if you think, what are you? What is a human being? If you see, we will be fitting into the definition of a karta than karana. I remember when I used to attend classes like you all, you're all attending my class, like that. I used to attend classes. I was in college. I went to one lecture. That lecture, the teacher there, he was teaching that day. He was taking some examples and all that, and he was teaching that we are all puppets in the hands of God. And he was explaining that God is a puppeteer and we are all puppets. He is explaining all that. And I couldn't keep quiet. I am not like you people. You are all listening to me quietly. I cannot listen to anyone quiet. Impossible for me. I said, sir, if I am an instrument, we are all instruments, no? God. Yes, sir. I gave you the same example. I take a knife and stab you, sir. Am I punished or the knife is punished? Who's punished? I am only punished. Knife is not punished. If I am instrument of God, then why should I suffer? He got really angry with me. That these youngsters, all atheistic fellows. He said, I am an atheist. And he started scolding me. I said, isn't it? Obviously, yeah, I said. But then, Krishna says, you be my instrument. We'll come back to that. Now, before you decode, remember, decoding, Krishna's words, not easy. Interpreting his words and decoding what he's saying. Thank God we had, great masters, who had come and given us this. Otherwise, we will come to this sort of, solutions only. We will decode like this only. And one person asks some, weird question like this. We do not know what to do now. You. So which means what? Krishna wrong is it? One thing you remember, it's impossible that Shastra can be wrong. That's an impossibility. Only thing is what? The way we have decoded it can be wrong. The decoding can go wrong, but they cannot be wrong. That's why we need to decode this fundamental understanding. So essentially, when we all look in our life, how we live our life, does a Karana have any choice? Can a Karana have a choice? Can an instrument have a choice? Not possible. Karana will never have a choice. Imagine my laptop decides to do its own things. Hey, I don't like your face. I'm not going to show you. It changes. No, it doesn't have a choice. The pen I use to write has no choice. Who has a choice? The one who is wielding the pen. Only the Karta can have a choice. Karana cannot have a choice. Remember that. Now, 5 minutes before only we saw, as human beings, we have choice. Right? Now, are you Karta, Karana? Karta only, no? Now, wherever there is choice, the byproduct of every choice is a dilemma. Where there is no choice, there is no dilemma. Wherever there is choice, there will be dilemma. There will be confusion, isn't it? Would you like to have this idli or that idli? Now, where is a choice? Suppose if you ask me, sir, would you like to have, tatte idli or MTR idli? There is a choice. The moment you say there are two idlis, Brahmin's tatte idli you want or MTR idli you want, confusion comes in. Which is better? And then third fellow comes and says, sir, Kanjivaram idli is much better than that. Signature one, sir, Rava idli. Have you had Rava idli? Now, 4 things come. 5th one you add. No idli at all, sir. Dosa. Not to talk about the varieties in that. There's one fellow here. He puts, that roadside fellow. 99 dosa. You see that? 99 dosa. I was standing there and reading all that. He thought I am going to eat that. Poor fellow. I was so fascinated by the list. Then, the taste and all that. 99 varieties of dosa. Now, which one you want? Masala dosa is there? That's what we do, no? In restaurants you go, they give you this menu card. You read all that. And then that, the boy comes and asks, sir, what do you like to order? What is there? And why you read? Confusion, no? Isn't it? You go to buy a mobile phone, confusion, isn't it? And then you zero it on and say that I'm going to buy this phone, and you place the order. Next day morning, newspaper comes. They're going to introduce a new model. Finished. In 2 months, new model is coming up. What happens? I should have waited. Every time you have a choice, remember, along with choice, there is confusion. Does Karana experience choice confusion? Karana cannot have choice. Therefore, no confusion, no dilemma, no stress. So, if you want to lead a life without any stress, what do you have to do? Don't say I should become humble and all that. Humility, with humility, you will be more agitated. At least arrogant fellow will look slightly better. A humble fellow, the one will look like a loser in life. Vedanta says, no, no, no. As long as you are a karta, there will be choice, there will be dilemma, there will be stress. You cannot escape. So if you want to escape from that stress, dilemma, you have to drop this kartahood and become a karana. Why? Because in karana, no choice, no dilemma, no stress. Now, along with that choice comes the side effects of this. What is it, sir? Karta alone will have punya and papa. Remember the example I gave you. Take a knife and stab. Who's penalized? Who's punished? Karta only, no? So who, to whom this consequences goes in, sir? Only to the person who is doing it, performer. So karta has to suffer the consequences. What is the consequence? Punya and papa. For karana, no punya, no papa. See. So karta has what? He has a choice and confusion. Because of the choice he is doing and he is performing the actions, he has to go through the consequences also. And then he has to experience what? Because of this punya and papa, there is a effect for punya papa. What is punya papa effect, sir? You have to go through in life sukha and dukkha. If you have punya, your life will be sukham, happy. If you have papa, there will be dukkha. So what is the cause of your sukha? What is the cause of your dukkha, sir? Is punya papa only. That's all it is. Right. Now we are talking about your suffering, not pain. Remember, there's a difference. Right. Pain is different. Suffering is different. Suffering is because of your papa punya. Pain is a different equation. So don't bring in that point here. As karta, you will go through this. Now, essentially, all this means what? All this means karta alone will have bondage. Correct. Karta will have bondage. Karana cannot have bondage. Okay. Now, there is a fundamental rule. See, so many things are there. Okay. You need to mix all that to get an idea. Fundamental rule is a karana always requires a karta for the karana to operate. Isn't it? A pen has to have a hand holding it to write something. Pen by itself will not write. Don't say Harry Potter the pen will write, sir. Harry Potter's pen will write. I'll fiction. In my house, pen writes. Impossible. Nowhere in the world the pen will write on its own. It needs a hand. What is it, sir? That's a law. The law is Karana needs a Karta to wield it. Okay. Now, you are doing things. You are performing various actions with the belief that Aham Karta. Okay. If I am not the Karta, then how actions will happen? If I become Karana, who becomes Karta? I repeat. For my actions, my body is performing action. Right? I have developed a skill of fighting. Arjuna has developed the skill of fighting and he has to execute that, for which he has to take his bow, take his gandirva, pull the string, place the arrow and chant that particular, astras, mantra, all that, and then release. All this is done by his body. His body is doing all that. He is doing all these things with the idea now, Aham Karta, I am doing it. Now Krishna says, you don't be Karta, you become Karana. That means what? Then who will become Karta? That's what he said in the previous verse. He says, I am Karta. I have killed all these people. I have done that job already. I am doing it. So what is that, sir? If I am not the Karta, then the Lord becomes the Karta and I become Karana. I become the instrument. For which you have to put in a conscious effort. What is the steps along coming later? Don't worry about it. He is explaining the steps, how you can do that in the 12th chapter. 5 steps he gives. Since it's coming up later, I'm not explaining it now. How that has to be done. How that's coming in the next chapter. Next chapter is going to explain that steps. But here he says this. What is he saying? He says, Arjuna, as of now, you have crossed over this arrogance by developing the skill, but you are caught up with this fundamental problem of I am the doer. That kartrutva, aham karta, that's called kartrutva. I am the doer, which is the expression of ego. Now, he says, drop that attitude and develop this attitude of aham karana. Our problem is, this is where our problem will come in. Wherever you have to execute your obligations, your duties, your mind demands an X attitude in you. If that belief is not there in you, you can never perform your duties. You need to have that sense of indispensability. See that? Yeah. Even imagine your wife says, even if you are not there, I will live happily. After that, will that fellow nominate her for his insurance? Anyway, you are going to live happily. No, even if I am not there, I am so fully secured. I know nothing, man. Same way, if the husband says, even if you are not there, I will not miss, man. I will know how to make coffee myself. In fact, I can make better coffee than the coffee that you bring. Then why you are not making it? Because now if I start making it every day, you will say you are making better coffee, you make for me also. That's why I'm not making. After you, even if you are not there, whether you are there, you are not there, is not going to make any difference. Let's say, presence of Ronaldo, absence of Ronaldo is not going to make any difference to Portugal team. What happens? You, isn't it? Even if you are not there, no one is going to miss you, let's say. How will you execute your obligation? Just imagine, no? How will you function? Imagine your kids say, I don't need you. What will happen to you after that? In fact, this is the problem of all the senior citizens. Because we were the one who brought them up. And when they were kids, we were telling them what? I don't know about others. I have heard many people telling this. My father used to tell me, look here, I'm not asking you to study well for me. If you study well, your life will be settled. We slog, we bring up a child, we make them independent, and then say what? They are independent of you means what? You are not needed anymore. When they say you are not needed anymore, what happens to us? You. This is the problem now. See, there's a very deep understanding here. It's not just a casual problem, please. For all of us to perform our duties, to do what we do in life, is not dependent on us only, in fact. If the duties and responsibilities that I am executing, they're not to be benefiting the people to whom I'm intending this to should go, what will happen? I am struggling, I am doing so much, and my son is not studying well. What will happen? See, if they are studying well, if he is scoring good marks, or if they are coming up good in sports, something or the other, okay? I'm not saying it should always be studies, okay? Can be in any field. If they are not succeeding, with what motivation will you perform your duties as parents? A doctor is able to do his duty as doctors only when he sees that his medication, his treatment is benefiting the patient. Correct. But then every doctor knows essentially surgery alone is in my hands. Whether the patient's body heals or not is dependent on the body of the patient, isn't it? The attitude of the patient, it is all dependent on the mindset of the patient, the psychology of the patient, the pain threshold the patient can have, cooperation of the patient. They can use so many words for all those things. But essentially, we all know theoretically that success is not dependent on my treatment. The success is mostly dependent on that side. It's not that because my mother wakes up in the morning, makes tea and gives to the child is scoring marks. If the child is not scoring marks, what would be the inspiration of that mother to make the tea late night? She has to see progress. If the fellow is, border pass case, he should be able to score at least 50 marks. From 40, he should be scoring 50. From 50, he should be scoring 60. From 60, he should be scoring 70. If that progression is not visible, is not perceived, is not guaranteed, as it were, is not proven, what will be the way in which we will be executing our duties? This is where we get this thought of aham karta. Are you actually karta? Think carefully here. See, if you think carefully, you are not karta actually speaking. Even though that prima facie our analysis, now I may be completely contradicting. No. If you are karta, these are the consequences. If you are karana, this is the existential choice given to all of us. Right? This is the existential choice, which is not given to any other creature. No animals, plants have this choice of, should I be functioning as karta or should I be functioning as karana? That choice I have. If I were to make a choice that I want to be a karana, I chose to become a karana, remember that karana will have a karta. For that, you don't have to worry at all. Who is going to be the karana for that? Sorry, karta for that karana. He says, the moment you chose to become karana, he says, I have already taken a position of a karta waiting for you. But what are we doing? He say what? No. God, you be the karana, let me be the karta. This is the way we talk to God. That's why there is a tussle between us and God. He says, no. You be the karana, let me be the karta. We say, no. It's like bringing, Putin and, Zelensky together and say, okay, now negotiate. No negotiation. Negotiation will not work there. Why? Because he will go on saying, it's like, we have seen in the news debates, BJP spokesperson, Congress spokesperson. He will go on saying, but no. This one, no. Same way. Eternal struggle between us and God is only this. We are unyielding to say, no, I cannot. That capacity to drop your kartahood and subscribe to karanahood is called surrender, is called bhakti. How many of us are willing to do that is a question. Krishna says here, oh Arjuna, arise. First he gives the consequence. Arise, wake up, get up, man. Immediately all of us will think what? Now he is going to say, come on, you do. He says, no. Get up and become a karana. Get up and become an instrument. In that process, acquire fame. Having acquired, conquered your foes, your enemies, enjoy the kingdom. For I have already taken the position of a karta. I have taken a position of a karta. You don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about, okay, So if God becomes a karta, oh, then he will have papa punya. That is his problem. What is your problem? Let him face the consequences. No. Let him meet that sin. Let him get that punya. Let him go to Vaikuntha. Let him go to this, Naraka. What is your problem? Wherever he wants to go, because he has taken the position of a karta, that is his to handle. As far as you are concerned, what is it, sir? You have to do only one thing. What? Shift from karta to karana. From doership to being a mere instrument. How the transference I have to do, sir? Next chapter he is going to explain. Okay, you don't worry about that. Don't ask that question here. Right? Yes. Drop the thought to Arjuna here. When Krishna was assuming the position of a Vishwarupa. From Vishwarupa position he is taking, remember that. This will be an important clue for us when we go to decode that. When he says that you be my instrument, not when Krishna was standing as a charioteer. Okay, when Krishna is standing as a charioteer, that position he is not taking. Now he has taken, he has assumed the position of a Vishwarupa, and that Vishwarupa he says, what are you? He says, Aham Kala, I am the time. From that position he says, you be this. There is one, big, objection we have with reference to this Vedanta, which again he is demolishing here in this verse. It's a very preliminary one, but it's worth reminding you. We have seen this earlier also many times. The moment you take to the spiritual path, spirituality, Vedanta, philosophy, all that means you should not get anything from the world. You should become a pauper. You should not be asking for this, nothing you should have in life. Isn't it? He says, acquire fame. Get this prosperous kingdom. He qualifies the kingdom actually. It's not the useless kingdom you are going to get, man. Get that prosperous kingdom. Get that prosperity. Get that name, fame, power, position. All that you get in the world. Because in Vedanta, possessing a prosperous kingdom is not a problem. There's no taboo. See, that's not the taboo here. What is objected by Vedanta is only the craving that we have to possess it. The belief that without possessing that, I am uncomfortable, incomplete. I feel insecure. Without that kingdom, I feel insecure. Then there is a problem. Without that position, I feel insecure. There's a problem. Without that fame, I feel insecure. Then there is a problem. But then, should you acquire fame? Yes, you should acquire fame. Should you acquire, prosperity? Yes, you should acquire prosperity. Become prosperous. There's no doubt about it. There's no point to repeating this, but it is worth reminding us that every kingdom invaded to India, not for Vedanta. Alexander did not want to come to India because there are a lot of Vedantins in India. No, he came here for wealth. Dutch came here for wealth. Portuguese came here for wealth. British came for wealth. Mughals came for wealth. Even after so much of looting, we are the 5th richest GDP, biggest one. No? We have overtaken British also, they say. Britain now. Even after so much of, corruption and this, that and all that. Black money and corruption and looting by our own fellows. You can imagine so much of wealth we have. How? We have no problems on that. Vedanta has no issues on that. The problem is that the craving that we have, and after acquiring that indiscriminate indulgence in that. The indulgence with wealth and craving for wealth is what is objected by Vedanta, not the possession of it. Why we object that is not because there is inherently this, because essentially these two attitudes will come and prevent you from performing your own obligations and duties in life. Therefore, there is an objection. So you need to know why we are objecting also. There is an objection to these two attitudes of life. What does it say? Irresistible craving, uncontrollable craving that we have for wealth that we are not having, towards what we don't have, craving for what we don't have, indulging with what we have. Whatever you have, you indulge. Whatever you can afford, you indulge. Like we say, when you want to buy something, your only thinking will be, can you afford or not? Is it good? Can you afford? If you can afford, you buy it. If you cannot afford, you cannot buy it. Full stop. As simple as that. Simple equation. Now, every one of us will go to one. Within that range, we will go on moving. Isn't it? There are mobile phones which are of this rate, from the range of 10,000 to 15,000. Your entire search for mobile phones will be happening between these two range only. There is another group of people who say that, sir, we go to the range of 80,000 to a lakh. Mobile phone. I'm searching for it. I'm not saying, that is wrong or this is wrong. I'm saying every one of us have a range. Within that range only, you will go through the choices. On what basis you fix that range? Affordability. Beyond affordability, we do not have any other parameter to think to live our life. In that, if you see, if I can afford only that 15,000, but every day, because I'm having a free browser, I keep on looking at this iPhone 14 Max Pro. Lakh and 20,000. Just only one addition. That's all. I can pay 20,000. One line is added to that. One number is added to it. Lakh and 20,000 rupees. You keep on checking that. All the features in that, all this and this is it. This is craving. Will go on and on and on and on and on. Finally, you will come to what? You will buy only Oppo, Redmi 2, Redmi 7, something will buy Samsung, some name, I don't know, because we don't have any specific, brands and all here. Some of them they say, sir, iPhone, old iPhones are there. Refurbished. Phones are there, we can buy. No one will know. We'll be showing as iPhone only. That Apple. Some of them buy some other brand and get a sticker, iPhone sticker, and paste. You cannot think beyond economics in life today. Affordability, sir. Beyond affordability, what is the parameter you consider to decide your lifestyle? That's the question of Vedanta. Vedanta is not saying everyone should be living a life of, iPhones or Samsungs and, your, OnePlus. No, we are not saying that. Wherever you are doesn't make a difference. We are not against this wealth. In fact, we worship wealth as Lakshmi here. We worship it. We consider that as divine. Why do we reject it? We don't reject here. But then it is criticized also. Why that is objected is because your whole thinking gets clouded by this thought. You are not able to see life beyond these two factors. What is not there, you have a craving. What is there, you indulge. Indiscriminate indulgence towards whatever you possess, and an uncontrollable craving towards what you do not possess clouds you from perceiving what is your obligation. Therefore, Vedanta objects it. So here Krishna says, get it, man, don't worry. There's no problem. You acquire name, you acquire fame, you acquire prosperity, all that. But then, Arjuna, what you have to be? Nimitta matram bhava. That's the mantra. Remember, this is the mantra, Mahavakya of Bhagavad Gita. Nimitra matram bhava savyasacham. The savyasacham also can add. It's very interesting terminology. Because the whole thing we derive from that. We extract the idea from this word. Savyasacham. He's the one who can wield the bow with left hand also. As equally as his right hand. Savyasacham. Be mere instrument. See you in the next class. Hari Om.